Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
This one's wife. Where have the Redhead kids gone? Hello, I'm hgtudor. This one's wife purportedly has 2 children. Children are, for the most part, non-intimate secondary sources in respect of the relationship that they have with the narcissist. In some instances, particularly when they are adults, they can become the non-intimate partner primary source of the narcissist. This happens when the narcissist doesn't have an intimate partner primary source, so they turn to a family member, which can often be a child, sometimes a child in minority, often an adult child, as the person that they get most of their fuel, character traits, and residual benefits from. In some instances of abuse, the child can occupy a position as an intimate partner by virtue of incestuous behaviour. But in most dynamics between the narcissist and a child, the child adopts the position of non-intimate secondary source. The child is very easy to control by virtue of the fact that they're invariably wholly reliant upon the narcissist. Furthermore, the child's achievements can be commandeered by the narcissist by way of character trait acquisition, and then to triangulate people with those achievements. The children will provide some fuel. The amounts can be large, the frequency can be often, the potency is moderate. Children are useful to the narcissist. They're very useful for triangulating other people with the children. For instance, talking about their achievements, so people coo and ah and say bless them. In some instances, misbehaving and treating the children badly to provoke a response, often from the non-narcissist spouse. In other instances, to utilize the children as those little mirrors of the narcissist. But make no mistake, the children are simply appliances, props that are used by the narcissist, and this one's wife is no different. Now, you may recall, of course you recall, a little while ago, this one's wife, once again on Instagram, triangulated her audience with her children. You remember these pictures? Yes, the pictures of the children in the garden. Lilibut's tumbling ginger locks. Once again, the back of her head, but note, such red hair, noticeably red, stand out ginger, you would say. And Archie, a couple of pictures of him shared also, one where his face is obscured by a rose, but look at that, Titian hair, Red-headed glory. And why not? After all, this one's wife wanting to emphasise the similarity between their hair colour and that of their father. At the time, I commented about the fact that it looked like some kind of filter had been utilised by this one's wife to redden the hair. This, of course, is something that is done in order to manipulate the picture and done so for the subconscious pursuit of fuel and control. And thus, the children were shown to be very much the redheads, absolute gingers, Titian locks on display. And then we have the Mother's Day picture. Now, let's have a quick game of spot the difference. Do you notice anything different between the pictures that I've just shown you of them in the garden and the hair colour of these 2 children? Whilst we don't have exact dates in respect of when the pictures were taken, and we do know that this one's wife uses pictures that may be somewhat historic, the fact is that they're not too far apart. They'd be relatively recently. After all, we're not looking at baby or toddler pictures of the children compared with pictures of them now. You'll see the hair colour is vastly different. Now, in order to be balanced, in the earlier pictures, they were in the sunshine, and sunlight lightens your hair. In this picture, you can see that they're stood in a shaded area. Although the sky is clear and the sun is shining, they are in a shaded area which tends therefore to darken the hair, but not that much. I have to say, it is quite distinct, the difference in the hair colour, especially that of Archie, whereby they've both got darker hair. It also seems to me that Lilibet, either she's a very tall girl for her age, or there is something amiss, because although she's got her knees raised, she almost looks the same size as Archie. Is it the case that Archie's a titch and his sister is normal sized? Or could it be that Lilibet is on the way to giantess status? Or might it be that there's something else, something nefarious going on? Remember the recent picture that we saw, which was described as a fuck you by this one's wife, showing Harry and the two children with their backs walking through the garden. I explained that most likely it had been elongated as a consequence of manipulation, but there was a definite size difference between the children. Here, it doesn't look as much as if there is. These inconsistencies naturally cause people to question the provenance of what is going on. The differences in hair colour also, and it's little wonder that so many people query whether the children actually exist when there are differences of this nature. It is little wonder that people tend to think that the children don't exist and they're swapped out for basically child actors because of the differences in size and discrepancies such as the hair colour. To my mind, this difference in hair colour is particularly distinct, and one wonders what has actually occurred in that respect. It isn't the case that this one's wife is dyeing their hair. Although she's a narcissist and behaves ridiculously, one would not expect that to be taking place. But there are questions that are raised from this particular picture. And whilst we're at it, it does show that where they're stood could do with a bit of maintenance. It doesn't look like it's been particularly well looked after. Either that's laziness on the part of this one's wife and Harry, or they can't afford to get the help to do it. But that's their problem and not ours. But what is clear from the latest sharing of this clip, as she shows her as the Mama Mountain, is the clear question, where have the red-headed children gone? This is one of the problems that this one's wife narcissism has. Absent a sensible explanation for the discrepancy, and there could be one, let's keep an open mind about this. The fact is, her propensity to go to Instagram, as I predicted, and the fact that she is focused on controlling the now, means that she will create inconsistencies, she will create discrepancies, and because she's a much scrutinized person, many people will pick up on this. You might think to yourself, well, she absolutely loves it because it garners her attention. Well, you're partially right. She does want the attention, but she wants subservient, fawning attention. She doesn't want people questioning her. She wants people to accept what she puts out and say, what a lovely picture of you and the children. Not, hang on a minute, are those the same children? Their hair colouring is different. She doesn't want people saying that to her. She wants people just praising her because that provides her with fuel and shows that they're under control. What do you think, valuable viewers? Do you think there's a credible explanation for the disappearance of the red-headedness of the children? Do you just think it's down to different lighting? Or do you think there's something else at play? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.